Ahoy there, mateys! You can be calling me Captain Rootbeard, seeing as how only the roots of me beard have grown in yet. And today I'm going to be embarking on a piratical quest hidden in the pages of this here book, Lost Treasures of the Pirates of the Caribbean, by James A. Owen and Jeremy Owen. Now this book tells the amazing tale of the mischievous, mysterious Magees. Back during the golden age of piracy, the Magee family lived in the Carolinas. Now they were known by honest folk as being silversmiths, but the truth is, the Magees had a secret business making maps. That's right, maps. And who did they make them for? Pirates. All the best pirates of the golden age got their maps from the mischievous, mysterious Magees. Now what this book has is 13 of the maps made by the Magees. And they say that there's a mystery to be solved here. No one has been able to tell if the maps really have clues to a lost treasure. But if the Magees' maps are real, then maybe the clues are too. And maybe, just maybe, there is still a treasure waiting for someone to find it. To find the treasure, we have to solve the riddle. The keys to solving this riddle are within the pages of this book. Every story and every map and every page contains a clue. But the riddle itself is a pirate song. Though death may have claimed us, our treasure be hid. The last of their duties our mapmakers bid to secret away from the bright eyes of prying, from scoundrels a-seeking and feared foes trying to claim as their own the treasure unshared with cannon a-blazing and scimitar bared. Following footsteps from ages gone past, a pirate at heart may find it at last. First, to the city that fell in the sea, and second, the home of Calico Jack. Third, Turtle Island is where you must be. Fourth, east to Algiers before turning back. Fifth finds both Port Royal and Great Turtle Bay, and by Bonny and Reed the next lands were plundered. Last comes a fair mermaid who's pointing the way. See quickly now, pirates, before what's hidden be sundered. Drawn on the back of each original map was a key that represented one of two letters. Those keys and their corresponding letters have been reproduced across from the maps in this atlas. The riddle holds the clues to the maps that will lead to the 7-letter answer that locks the secret 14th map. Follow in the footsteps of Ernest Magee. Discover the secrets of the pirates, and maybe you will be the one to discover the lost treasures of the Pirates of the Caribbean. So, are you pirate enough? I am, and I'll prove it to you today. 7 riddles. But fortunately, Captain Rootbeard is a master of all riddling. First, to the city that fell in the sea. Well, the city that fell in the sea was the wickedest city on earth, otherwise known as Port Royal, Jamaica. Back during the buccaneering period, Port Royal was a pirate haven. A buccaneer could go there and spend his ill-gotten gains on whatever he wanted. And the goldsmiths, the wenches, the mayors, the governors, everyone had their hand in the pirate's pocket. So pirates are quite good for the economy, actually. But by about 1680, the governors were getting tired of their reputation of being the wickedest city on earth, so they tried to clean up their act. And that wasn't enough for the heavens, for in 1692, Port Royal, Jamaica was rocked by a devastating earthquake, and the entire city of Port Royal was sunk into the sea. Second, the home of Calico Jack. Old Jackie boy sailed out of Nassau in August of 1720. That was when he violated his pardon, so they say. But that wasn't where he was from. For when the pirate hunters caught up with Jackie boy, they'd caught him right after a roaring good party, and the pirates had all gone to sleep. Or almost all. For when the pirate hunters called out, "Who's there?" the pirates responded with a shot from their swivel guns, and the call, "Jack Rackham of Cuba!" Cuba! That's our answer. Third, Turtle Island is where you must be. Now that's an easy one. Everyone knows that Turtle Island be Tortuga, that little speck of land just north of Hispaniola, and a perfect haven for any buccaneer. Fourth, east to Algiers before turning back. Algiers be one of the 3 most important ports along the Barbary coast for the corsairs of the Mediterranean. Fifth finds both Port Royal and Great Turtle Bay. Aye, so we just talked about Port Royal. That's now. We already had Port Royal, that can't be right. Aye, here be one of the mysteries of the Caribbean. Seems that there are many places named Port Royal and many places named Tortuga. There's even more than one Trinidad. I must say, when it comes to naming things, we pirates are an unimaginative lot. As it turns out, Great Turtle Bay be part of Bermuda, and nearby there is another Port Royal, not the same as the Port Royal Jamaica that was destroyed in the earthquake. Why we need extra Port Royals in the Caribbean, I couldn't answer. And by Bonnie and Reed, the next lands were plundered. Now, Bonnie and Reed weren't captains themselves. They were crew members of Calico Jack. And they didn't do a whole lot of plundering either, seeing as the crew was so small they only had 12 men and 2 women. Not enough to capture any large prizes, but they did capture a few small ones, and they did steal their ship, the William, right out from under the nose of Governor Rogers when, in the August of 1720, the pirates grabbed the sloop and sailed her out of Nassau. Nassau! That's our answer. Last comes a fair mermaid who's pointing the way. Aye, there she be, the bonny lass, on our map of Barbados, and she's pointing the way to the Lesser Antilles. Now that we have all the maps, we need to figure out what the word is by deciphering the letters from the keys inscrawled on the maps. You'll take the first letter from each group. You get the word Stlukia. Stlukia. Aye. Stlukia Island. I've never heard of such a place. If you take the second letter from each group, you get the word Quick-to-know. Quick-to-know. Quick Dino, that's it. Now, what they're trying to say is that a quick dinosaur stole the map. And if we just investigate Jurassic Park, No, that can't be right. Ernest McGee would have died before anyone even knew about dinosaurs. If we take a letter from each group, but not the first or the second necessarily, we can unscramble the word quality. Aye, quality, like the HMS Quality, a destroyer ship that was sunk in the early 20th century. Of course, the map must be there. It must be a sunken treasure map that we're trying to find. Avast there. If Ernest McGee died in the 18th century, how could he have known that in the 20th century there was going to be a destroyer ship with the name HMS Quality? That doesn't make any sense at all. Ugh, another false trail. Avast there. What did that riddle say again? It said that the fair mermaid was pointing the way. The fair mermaid is on Barbados, and she be pointing to the Lesser Antilles. If we can find another map of the Caribbean, perhaps she can point us in the right direction. Here's a map of the Caribbean. And in the Antilles, just northwest of Barbados. Ahar! Here, west by northwest of Barbados, lies Stlukia Island. It does exist. All we have to do is set a course for Stlukia. pardon me, St. Lucia Island, and there we'll find our treasure.
And here's the quick dino tooth. Told you that was right.
But what about the map?
No!
Anne Bonny and Mary Read weren't captains themselves, but they both sailed under the crew of Captain Jallico Jack. Jallico Cack. And when you solve a good pirate riddle, it's time for a reward. Some root beer for Captain Rootbeard.